Welcome back to Omni Garage. So here in front of me I have RYOBI's new pressure washer. So this is a 2030 psi pressure washer that's pushing out about 7 litres per minute. So thank you very much to RYOBI from New Zealand for sending us this product to try out free of charge. We're under no obligations to do anything special here, but we're just going to walk you through basically an unboxing, a bit of a setup and a bit of a use case on the vehicle here. So I did say that this pressure washer is pushing out sort of 7 litres per minute, but it's probably going to be slightly less than that by the time we walk through a couple of the attachments and adjustments and actually use that in real world. But let me tell you, this has got enough flow rate for you to wash your vehicle, to put a foam cannon on, foam the vehicle down, get that really cool foam and have a good wash experience using this pressure washer. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now and pretty happy. Couple of features I really like. It's pretty small and compact. Comes with a cord here, so you're going to be, this is not battery powered, you're going to be plugging this into the wall, you're going to be setting this sort of in front of your garage or around your car, and then you're going to plug everything in and get going. So total stop. So that means that when you squirting water out, you let go of the trigger, the machine doesn't keep making a noise, it sort of turns itself off until you then are ready to do some more washing with it. So that's a really nice feature, and it's a big come up from a couple of their other models having that total stop. That is kind of like a bit of an industry standard here that we're seeing in the car washing world, having pressure washers that temporarily shut off while we're not using them. So I really like that as a feature. So RYOBI does make a smaller unit than this. It doesn't push out the same PSI and the flow rate is slightly less. And so I recommend that if you are going to be washing cars pretty regularly, then you get yourself this unit. So small, nice and compact. So at the front of the machine is our on-off. We have our hose attachment here, so this is where the water is going to be coming out, so that's going to be attaching to your pressure washer, to your pressure gun, etc. And on the back is our water inlet here. So they give us, this is a standard hose connection, and there's a filter in there to filter any crud out of your water. So that's where water is going to come into the back of the unit. Going to get pressurized in the unit, and then water is going to come out here. So they give us a hose, I think it's roughly, well not roughly, I think it's 6 meters, 6 meter hose, comes in a nice carry bag. So that's really nice to stow away when you're not using your pressure washer. And RYOBI have sort of got their own attachments on here that aren't necessarily standard, but it's what they've decided to use, and they've got this sort of, it's not quite a traditional quick disconnect, but they've got their own sort of locking mechanism in the inside here. So clips in pretty nice and easily there, and then if you want to get rid of it, you just take the lock off and it pops off. So that's where the water is going to come out of the front of the unit, and that will attach into the gun. Now the gun is just a standard plastic gun that's got locking mechanism here, so you can lock the trigger so that you can't accidentally, I suppose, use the unit if you're not ready. And then in the back here is the release and lock style that the hose is going to attach onto here. And then to get rid of your gun, to tidy it all up at the end, you can just disconnect it very simply there. So all of these parts of the pressure washer are pretty standard, but this is where things start to get a little bit interesting, and it's definitely a little bit of a development for RYOBI. They're starting to get into the quick disconnect systems. Now, they are pretty standard in the car washing industry, and the pressure washers and stuff that we are familiar with all come with disconnects to your hose, etc., to the gun, so you can change different attachments. So RYOBI is just starting to get involved with that. This is not a quick disconnect, but it's a locking style type connection that comes onto another piece on the end there. But what I can see here is a quick disconnect. Now that is very important because that allows us to change through a couple of different features here. So quick disconnect to our nozzle comes standard. So this is a 15-degree nozzle. They also do give us a turbojet nozzle if you were to pressure wash your patio and stuff like that. So we can easily swap that in and out. So this quick disconnect also allows you to attach a foam cannon. So what you have in here is you're going to get your soap water mixture based on your dilutions, and then you're going to do a quick disconnect onto the end of the gun here, and that will allow the pressurized water coming from the pressure washer through here. It's going to force it through. At the same time, it's going to pick up the soap solution, and that's going to produce foam onto your vehicle, which is really important to getting foam onto the car when you're doing your car wash. It's a nice feature to have, and it's really fun to do that in detailing. So if you're new to detailing, then RYOBI has got this kit sorted for you. It's a great start. It comes with everything you need to be able to wash your car, get some foam on there and have a fun time. But in new developments, because RYOBI is starting to do these quick disconnects and stuff, it's a great start for you to then build onto. So you can change a lot of the setup as you get, you know, better at detailing, or you get more into it. You can change the gun out, you can change the wand out, and you can buy different attachments that allow you to do that. So this is a really good baseline from RYOBI, so well done for that. But it's a great platform for you to then get into things that you can increase the quality of the equipment going forward as you desire. So the pressure washer is all set up and we're ready to go. And you can't hear anything because total stop is activated, which means it's quiet while we're not using it. The machine is primed, pressurized, ready to go. And when I pull the trigger, the machine works and then turns off as soon as I release the trigger. So that's a really nice feature from RYOBI. There is nothing worse than having the pressure washer primed, making a huge noise over there while you're cleaning the wheels or something. I just like to work in silence, so it's nice that it turns on only when required. So here we've got our mixture of our soap mixture in here. Quick disconnect's really nice, so I can change in between foam cannon and then that 15-degree nozzle when it comes to rinse time. Right, so now we are now ready to foam down. So a couple of things to note on here. So here is our soap adjustment. So adjusting it one way is going to produce thin watery soap, because that's going to basically increase our air ratio and the amount of, and reduce the amount of soap being picked up. And then if we increase it the other way, that's where we get the nice thick foam. And then the other thing to note on the end here is basically the direction of the fan. So you can have it pointing up vertical that way, or you can go longitudinal that way. So once you've got the soap onto the vehicle, you can then get into your washing techniques with your wash meter and your buckets of water, and you can have a great old time washing the vehicle down. Then when you're finished, then it's time to rinse the vehicle down, so we can just swap the quick disconnects out of there for our 15-degree nozzle, and then we can get straight into rinsing down the vehicle. Top tip from Omni Garage, I recommend that when you're changing the nozzles, on the first time you pull the trigger, point this down to the ground, because if you haven't quite connected this properly, that's just going to slam that into the side of your vehicle and cause scratches. So top tip from us. So is the pressure and flow enough of this from this pressure washer? And I think absolutely yes. 7 litres per minute is quite a lot. I don't think you'll be getting that in real world out of here. And the pressure is definitely enough. Now in the car detailing world, if you put your hand at a great distance and it doesn't cause any pain to your hand, then that is the right pressure that you should be using. I don't recommend that you push this right up and do that, because it'll hurt, but definitely at some degree, you know, some length away. So at about that distance it's starting to feel a little sore. That means that if it's safe enough for my hand to go there, it's safe enough for you to be up on the paint. So that's it for Omni Garage. Thank you for watching, and again thank you to RYOBI for setting up this pressure washer. Glenn and I are having an absolute blast here in the nice overcast Sunday afternoon, pressure washing down a beautiful vehicle. Stay tuned for the next one.